Bonjour, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? Welcome to the Jezebelle Trinity podcast. I am your host, Trinity Stella, and I am very happy to be here tonight. So, Tuesday nights, I am not able to go on at 7. I have other commitments, and so I guess it's my responsibility to either um, do the podcast earlier in the day or at 8 o'clock. And I'm not sure yet. I'm gonna have to get a schedule set. But welcome everybody, and I hope you're having a good night. And I hope you had a good day. And happy Tuesday. So, let's see. One thing, I guess I kind of wanted to stick with what we were discussing last night. My co-host and I, Faye, we were talking about broken systems and how do we fix them? How do we, and what do we mean by fixing them? How do we have a system that works for us, that supports us, that helps us grow as individuals, as people, as groups, as community building, and well, right now I feel like this, in a smaller sense, the tribal system is a smaller version of the American government. And if you do comparisons, it is just like a smaller form of government. The tribe was handed a constitution, just like the American Constitution. Just like the states were handed constitutions, the tribe was handed a constitution. And I guess I want to elaborate, maybe for those of you who aren't familiar with tribal government, or um, the differences. And it's just a smaller form of government within a government, and it's not real clear on the hierarchy of it, as far as state governments, local governments, we got tribal governments, and the federal government. And if you look in your textbooks, they don't have it in the hierarchy when you're taught this at school. Where does tribal government fit in that graph? And that's kind of where we're left at, dividing sovereignty. So anyways, I'm kind of going off on a thing, but we do have the same problems. And I feel like I'm trying to change my wording, that the smaller government that we have, it's not as old as the federal government, but we were handed this constitution in the 1950s, I want to say. And at that time, if you think about the generation that was surviving at that time in the 1950s, at that time, my ancestors were very ashamed to be Native. They were ashamed to be dark-skinned. They were ashamed to speak their language. They were ashamed to dress in their traditional clothing. And we were actually prohibited from singing certain songs. So, and some songs and traditions were banned up until recently, I want to say the 1980s. And so what's happening is, how I see it, is the tribal governments are operating from a system that was created from shame, pain, trauma, not very good feelings. And today, in 2020, we're in a different time, and now we can say we're proud. We want to speak our language. We want to live our way of life. And we want spirituality. And we can vote. We weren't able to vote then. But I feel like, I can't help but say that. Um, my understanding, or how I view it, is it's kind of turned into an oppressive system. And, like my co host and I were sharing last night, you know, our families are broken up, people are kicked out of their homes, programs that are supposed to help, you get kicked out of. And it's kind of carried through those, like our children getting taken away. Our system takes our own children away and from us, and it doesn't really help us to keep our children or keep us in our homes. So how do we fix it? What do we have to do to, you know, fix a broken system? How can you build on something that's not working? It's like a part, like I was comparing or contrasting last night. Um, Cooking, when you create something, when you're not in a good mindset, when you have this not very good energy, and you put that into whatever you're creating, whatever you create is going to um oh, what's the word, is kind of distill that same energy into the atmosphere, the universe. And happy 99 portal 99, everybody. um and yes, it was a very full moon last night, very big red full moon. I did miss the rising of it, but I did catch the midway about 10 o'clock. But yeah, so how can we, if we have a home, and this is just a metaphor, if we have a home that's built on a foundation, a shaky foundation, the basement's crumbling, the walls are sagging, how do we fix that home? How do we fix, I'm not a contractor, I don't really know, I'm not a roofer either. um, but how do we fix that home? Do we just keep mending holes, mending the leaks, you know, putting shingles on top of shingles, covering it up, but underneath it's shaky? Um, and my suggested, well, just, what if we started community building bridges with other communities? Because in order to heal, we have to open wounds, we have to face our wounds and become vulnerable. And becoming vulnerable to heal ourselves, to heal one another, to reach out for support, we would have to have, somebody watching our back, somebody supporting us while we did this internal healing system change. Because I invite you to come on to the show. I'm actually going to, I don't like to sitting here talking to myself, or not to myself, but with my own opinions. Group discussion is welcome. And I would love it if somebody would come on and share their thoughts on the whole situation, on how we heal a broken system, and what ways to fix it. So there's a link for you guys if anybody wants to come on and join a conversation. I'm going to be on here for a few minutes just kind of sharing my thoughts, ideas, opinions. If you have some thoughts and opinions and want to share with me, I was just in class today learning about group diversity. The more diverse a group is, the more ideas are expressed, and um, without fear of opinions and um, seeking out a variety in perspectives and different backgrounds to solve a problem. Um, Diversity in thoughts, encouragement to speak up, create an environment where dissent is welcome. And, it's welcome here. This is an open space. And if you have your thoughts on the matter, I would love to hear what they are, and if you have ideas, finding a common ground, just opening up the conversation, opening up the bringing the issue to front, and that's an issue. And ignoring the issue is passing it on for our children to handle, passing it on, passing our pain on, our troubles on to our children, saying we don't want to deal with it. They're going to have to deal with it. And that's what's been going on for generations, and now it's up to us to have these uncomfortable truths, these uncomfortable talks, and make decisions together. And oh, there's my timer. I got something in the oven, dinner in the oven. But yeah, so I guess we can save this for tomorrow. And my co-host is actually, she might be at that Inspiration Station group community meeting that they were having in Lac Flambeau tonight. And that was a group of people, recovering individuals from substance use, going out on their own and coming up with their own plan. It's very hard to heal in a community that wants to bring up our past for help, and maybe not get helped. And that's a big concern, and that's why it's so important to speak about it, to share about it, so we can talk solutions and create a sustainable environment for our children that are coming after, that are going to live on after us. We want them living in the same situations and fighting each other and arguing with each other and treating each other just shitty. Do we want that for our own kids? Or do we want to teach our kids to love one another, to accept one another, to respect one another? We're leading by example. Let's come together and respect our opinions and create a encouraging atmosphere. Create an environment where people are comfortable to speak their opinions and without fear of retaliation, without fear of we can all not like each other, but we can work together. We don't have to like each other. We just need to work together to come up with some answers. And that involves all of us. It's a human thing that we need to work on. And we're all communities And I'm in a new community, and I love my new community here, and I feel very welcome and accepted here. And I'm grateful for that. And thank you very much to my community. And I'm just trying to, and I love the fact that I can still stay connected with my home community through, one individual that I speak to, my co-host, and you step outside away from people and you see who's really there for you, who's the real ones, and they'll show up. But so yes, so let's save this for tomorrow, and we'll continue it on tomorrow. I would like to ask Kuno or James to see if they would be willing to come on this week to share how the meetings went, and maybe we can start our own groups in our own communities, because it's not just one community, it's all our communities. We come from all over. And yeah, I feel very positive about this, and I wish everybody well. And I love all of you so much, and I respect all of you. Okay, guys, well, I hope you have a good Tuesday night. Tomorrow is hump day, and we'll do a check-in, see where we're at, and I will put up the link to join, and we'll discuss this all this week. We'll discuss the same, how to fix a system, how to be the glitch in the current system, how to shake it up, and how does that happen? How does it happen? Because the system is built to runs on our pain and traumas, cycles of trauma, cycles of pain. We keep that system going, just like like when you go to a job that involves people, like say you're a guard in a jail, they wouldn't have a job if people would stop going to jail. You know what I'm saying? In a bigger sense, if we start healing ourselves together, coming together, the system starts to glitch and doesn't know what to do. And what happens is changes will have to be made. Perspectives change. More ideas come up if things aren't working. So yeah, just something to think about. Be the glitch in the system, because we are the ones we've been waiting for. All right, guys, I love you all. We'll see you tomorrow. And I hope and I'll put up the link and have a good discussion. I don't like the one-sidedness, so I'm going to give my own opinions or my own theories, but I would love somebody to come in and give their theories. Like I said, the more diverse our backgrounds come together, the more brainstorming we can come up to fixing things or coming up with a sustainable system. Even if we have to throw the other one out, seriously, throw it out, burn it, and let's just start over. What are we going to do without that piece of paper there? Start looting each other? I don't think so. I think we have a little more respect for each other than that. But, all right, guys, good night. Peace, love, and 100% respect. I swear to God, I love all you guys. All right, have a good night. And see you tomorrow on 9/10/25. All right, guys, me glitch for walking with me tonight, and I see you. You have a good night. Gigawabamin. You knew I was forgetting something. Gigawabamin. See you later. That means see you later in Ojibwe.